Hi everyone, welcome to All Four Queens 555. I was trying to do something the weekend. So welcome to the channel, all about warfare, healing, and awakening. And I was trying to do something the weekend, and I've just uploaded someone being in my laptop. Now we know that I had four laptops. And six phones or whatever, I can't remember, and I've got another laptop here, a larger screened one, and I tried to log into that because I'd wiped it and I changed the password and it wouldn't let me in. But obviously this one I got in straight away, but this is the one they keep messing with all the data and changing it and making sure that I see that it's been wiped and everything else. Anyway, I tried to create a new business the weekend on YouTube, and it came up all wrong. But the funniest thing about it is, because we know that obviously they've got some sort of technology, I don't know whether it's all the things they're injecting with, but they've got some sort of technology where they can get my creativity and my thoughts. And obviously they're in my phones 24/7, so whenever I'm doing anything like leaflets and stuff, they see everything. But I had this vision of, they saw the business, because obviously I've tried to keep my creativity private purely because as soon as I put it out, they run around and try and undermine it and then throw it out and then just basically undermine it basically. But I've prayed on it and I don't see that they're undermining me. They're undermining my ancestors and God, and I've just surrendered it and I'll leave them to deal with it. Because if people want to go around stealing other people's content and other people's creativity and ideas and business names and things like that, then I've just surrendered that to God and the ancestors, and whoever touches it, it will be cursed. So whoever wants to play with it and manipulate it through their businesses, they'll get the karma for it as well. Because it says, do not be deceived, God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows, and that's the same for a woman as well. So anyway, I was laughing because as soon as they've seen the business name, I saw in my vision people running around trying to get all the business names right. So when I went to set up a YouTube channel, there was only one available with a load of numbers at the end. And even when I did set it up wrong anyway. So, it just goes to show that my point to the message is who's not involved. And then the other thing that I had this like intuitive hit where I was being followed by somebody where I used to live, and they had one of those like big Jeep truck things, and I think I've mentioned it before, and it had a Texas number plate on it. And the person did actually follow me into the library. Now, I wasn't sure if it was somebody who was someone's ex, or if it was somebody that had been paid to do some cause harm, because we know that the DEATH message went out to the world, and obviously someone's put something on my head, so we know all that. And obviously I've done the reports to the police and stuff, and obviously question mark there. I don't think all of them are involved, but I do think some are. Anyway, we know that they use bone for magic, and we know that they use the physical realm. So I was laughing to myself, and then I was looking on the system to see where all the offices are of the platform. And although there's not one directly in Texas, there is one on the outside. So I was wondering whether that person is related to that. There's a link there. Because it seems really odd that as soon as I went to set it up, there was only one available. And my question there is, because we know that this laptop has been messed with, have they set it up so that when I upload stuff, it will automatically be stolen for somewhere else? Because I do believe it's a massive corruption. Now, I'm not saying the platform per se, but I do believe there are people in who work for the platform that are part of whatever's going on. I do. And I think that these businesses really need to do a lot to protect themselves, because, content is content, isn't it? And so I was just interested that as soon as I went to set up the name, only one available, and I could just visualize somebody running to try and collect everything so that I can't do it. But my question there is, who are they undermining, really? And how crazy does it look when the evidence is now there that they've done what they've done to create a problem or make it difficult for somebody else to actually just live their life and step out of the matrix? You have to laugh, don't you? Because at the end of the day, who are they doing it for? And if it's somebody that's carrying the spirit of jealousy, well, then there's not really much we can do about that, is there? Like when I go back to the song Jolene, there's not really much we can do about that, because that's more about them. All we can do is pray that they actually see the light, and I don't know. And then if it's someone carrying the spirit of narcissism or psychopath or sociopath, well then I surrender that to the powers of be, because their wrath is far greater than mine. And we know that the people that carry those are conditioned to misunderstand anyway, because they just see the world the way that they want to see it, and nothing else is outside of that. So it's not even worth wasting your time on, is it? And then I've got someone who's constantly trying to get into my energy, somebody who's constantly doing voodoo, and obviously the medical apps as well. I've already showed where my nails, you can see what they were trying to do with my nails. Now that could be from the previous place as well, where they were messing with the water, but I know that there's been instances here where I've bought bottles of water and they were specifically there, so I'm a bit more mindful now. But yeah, the network is so wide, it really is. And obviously we know they use all sorts of gizmos and gadgets and stuff, and obviously some of it is very high tech and very military and very movie type stuff that you wouldn't think exists but does. So yeah, but it was funny just watching someone running around trying to take everything so that I couldn't have it. It was just so bizarre. It's the most bizarre behaviour. I find the behaviour is so petty, which goes back to the mean-spirited and why do people undermine people. It's the most pettiest behaviour and most immature behaviour. I can't really resonate with it because I don't really understand it. At my age now, I don't even think I was like it at 5. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's really difficult to resonate with it and to navigate it in a way that makes sense, because I really don't get it. And especially if it's somebody of a certain age that is behaving like a page but is actually a lot older. It's very odd behaviour. Very, very strange. Very strange. And we know as well that they're desperate because they haven't got any energy. They're now going through in the reap what you sow. And also, you know, they want to stay relevant in your life because they want to hold on to your energy, but also they want to stay attached to your abundant energy. But that's why God pulls you away, because obviously God knows that they're not right to go forward with you in your next chapter because they haven't treated you well in your previous chapters. So obviously he takes you away, and that's just the way it is. I think the other part to that is, though, and I was just asking the question, the relevance of their being. You know, they steal people's work, they steal people's energy, they steal people's essence, they steal people's creativity, they steal everything that is you. And I question, what is their purpose, really? They don't want to raise the vibration. They want to dance with low vibrations. They want to sip the cup of the demon and try and sip the cup of the Lord, and then walk in false light, and then try and cloak in our energy. So I have to ask the question, what is the purpose? And I think we're now seeing that God is now stepping in, and the spiritual realm are now stepping in, and they're answering that question. Because they've chose not to do anything to make their life better, but to take from everyone else, thinking that they could carry on doing it forever. And we all know that we all have our karma to face this lifetime, and whatever residual is left, you know, it's in your generational curse, isn't it? So I just hope people understand that, you know, I mean, obviously that's what I can see visually, but, you know, it's the most insidious behaviour I've ever experienced. So yeah, my new business, trying to block it, like they tried to block this one, because I want to step out and be self-sufficient. Make it make sense. Anyway, I'm going to love yous and leave yous, but keep up the fight and take it easy. I'm sending you much healing and much love. See you later. Bye.